Welcome back, travelers, to a fantastical Christmas time. I'm going to say there's hot cocoa in this giant cup. It's actually tea. Hot cocoa. So what we're doing this time around is we're going to be talking about our 10 favorite.
I also have hot cocoa in the same cup.
In the exact same cup.
Yep.
Cheers.
Mine is also tea.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to talk about 10 different films that we enjoy. This is the sequel to the first one, in which Joe went over his 10 things that he liked. They're movies, mostly. We went with franchises all being one thing, just for the sake of simplicity and compaction. So we're going to start us off real quick with the first one, Edward Scissorhands. Have you seen Edward Scissorhands?
The Christmas movie?
It's technically a Christmas movie. A lot of it takes place during winter, and pivotal scenes take place during Christmas time. It's kind of like Die Hard in that regard. Where Die Hard is considered a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas.
I know. I've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. That's fair. But yeah. So that's really my version of Die Hard. Is Edward Scissorhands. Number 9 is Wonderful. It's a Wonderful Life. You've seen It's a Wonderful Life, Joe?
I have.
Do you know why you've seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Because the Fairly Odd Parents did a parody on it, and then I wanted to watch the movie, so my mom showed it to me.
Interesting reason. The reason... Are you serious? You didn't just naturally see it? Because basically the way it worked is that It's a Wonderful Life was a flop when it came out. It was so bad that people kind of just forgot about it, and it went into a public domain where anyone could use it. And so what happened is that they... TV channels, like television sites, TV channels needed to actually just fill up dead air during Christmas because nobody was watching the new stuff during that time because they were going places. And so instead of having like TV shows running during that time, they just had movie specials. And It's a Wonderful Life didn't cost anything because it was public domain and you could just show the movie.
Interesting.
So it just got shown everywhere, and I love that story behind it, and obviously it's a really good movie. So all that taken together kind of is the reason it hits number 9. Number 8 is Nightmare Before Christmas. Obviously, there would be 2 Tim Burtons on this particular list. It's my list, and Nightmare Before Christmas is a classic. It is part of my childhood, and the reason it's only number 8 is because I can never decide if it's a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie.
We have this conversation every Christmas and Halloween. It's both. It's
true, but like it can't be both. It's a Thanksgiving movie. It's the only answer. Number 7 is The Grinch. Now, obviously, this combines all 3 Grinch films. You have the Jim Carrey variant, you have the Sherlock Holmes variant, and you have the classic variant. And they're all mean ones, and they're all Mr. Grinch. My favorite, of course, is the Jim Carrey variant because that's the one I grew up with. Even though the cartoon was around longer, I remember being terrified of the Grinch because he was a giant green-faced monster. But I love it. He's hilarious and it's brilliant, and it really shows, like the Jim Carrey version specifically, really shows a very good view of loneliness and the idea behind like toxic consumerism. Number 6, Home Alone. Home Alone very easily could have broken into the top 5, but I just like the other 5 a lot more. And Home Alone is, of course, considering Home Alone 1, 2, 3, and technically 4. And apparently there's one with a dog. There's been a ton of Home Alones. Like there's been like 5-ish, maybe. The point is, there's a lot of Home Alones. They're all hilarious. The reason that it does not break the top 5 is because the only reason I want to watch Home Alone is for the second half of the film. Because I'm already like invested in the character. I already understand what's going to happen. So you don't need to explain everything to me and like, oh, he's home alone. Oh, he's scared of the thieves. I just want to see guys get blown up like they're in a cartoon. Like I'm a very simple man with very simple desires. And I mean, that's what it comes down to for me. Number 5, Joe, can you guess which version of the Christmas Carol is my favorite?
No.
You Muppet. It's Muppet Christmas Carol.
Does that count as different from the actual Christmas Carol?
No, it's all considered the same franchise, according to me, the way I'm doing things here. But Muppet Christmas Carol is my favorite version of the Christmas Carol, and I consider it to be above all of the other ones. And it's a travesty that one of the like a key song in the movie was actually lost when they were changing it from VHS to DVD. So as a result, like the Disney Plus version does not have that song in it because they never actually like it never technically existed. Though they are remastering it in 4K and they found the reel that was missing, and so that song's going to get re-added in. It just so happens to be the one that really hammers home the reason that Scrooge is so sad as he gets into it. Also, of course, the portrayal of Scrooge is magnificent because you have Michael Caine doing it. So like you can imagine him just like doing his Scrooge thing after a long life of serving Batman. So there's no reason not to enjoy that variant of the film. Number 4 is technically a Christmas movie. Once again, technically, but it's also what?
Is it Die Hard?
It's not Die Hard because while I say it's technically a Christmas movie, it's more a Hanukkah movie. It's 8 Crazy Nights. It's an animated Adam Sandler film. Joe, I've shown it to you before, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's hilarious. It's got some great musical numbers. They're all just a joy to listen to. And it's a very heartwarming tale of a curmudgeon who learns to kind of learn to love again, learn to accept friendship from people. And it's got a tiny little man named Whitey, and he's hilarious. We're in the top 3 now. Number 3, basically everything in the top 3 easily could be number 1 for me. I love these 3 movies. These are the 3 movies that I have to see every Christmas. Every year I see these 3 films without fail.
Was number 3 the Polar Express?
None of them are the Polar Express. Why on earth would I watch those dead-eyed mannequins giving hot cocoa to dead-eyed children?
Because you brought up Polar Express and we're bringing up this idea.
I did. The point is, Christmas Vacation. Once again, this is like an 80s film, I think. It is fantastic. Everything is quotable. Everything's a joke. It's non-stop slapstick humor, and it's fantastic. There's a scene where they're like at the very beginning, they're just trying to get a tree, and they're going through the snow and the ice, and their daughter just slowly starts freezing from the waist up, from the neck down. She's frozen, and by the end of it, they see this tree, and he's like, "Isn't it beautiful?" And she goes, "She'll see it later. Her eyes are frozen." It's just real quick stuff like that. And they don't like pay attention to it. They don't draw attention to it. It's just something that happens and then you move on. And
that is our humor.
Yeah, it is. You just go. And it's fantastic. Number 2, Elf. Everyone loves Elf. Elf is a masterpiece.
Elf is a masterpiece.
Elf is a masterpiece. It's made by Jon Favreau. I never can get his last name right. The guy who made Avengers. He's just amazing. So I mean, come on, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he make
Isn't
something?
he the guy who's on the mandolin?
But yeah, the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear, and everybody knows that. I'm in a crowd and I'm singing. Joe, this is my last one. Out of all the movies that you've heard me quote in the past that are definitely Christmas based, can you tell me what my number 1 Christmas movie of this year is? What I mean by this year is this year I feel like this is the number 1.
Sesame Street?
What?
Sesame Street? Is it Jingle All the Way?
It is Jingle All the Way. It's definitely Jingle All the Way. It was in my hands. I had it and it was in my hands. There's so much to it. He's the little boy that Santa Claus forgot.
Jingle All the Way is an amazing movie.
Sorry for that laddie. He hasn't got a daddy. He's the little boy that Santa Claus forgot. I'm going to deck your halls. There's so many things that I love about Jingle All the Way. All the way, once again, to the consumerism angle of like, this is a dad who is attempting to buy his child's love with toys. Because he's and then you have Arnold Schwarzenegger as this, like, I guess you could say an everyman. He's just a normal guy. And
it's really cool.
And he's huge and he still sounds the same. And like he has his action-y moments, but even then he's still a goof. And it's just so good. And Sinbad. Oh my gosh. He's so much better than a sailor. He goes postal in this one. It's fantastic.
He's amazing.
It's a beautiful masterpiece of a movie that once again can be quoted all the way. All three of those final movies, Christmas Vacation, Elf, and Jingle All the Way. I quote them throughout the year. They're not Christmas specific. Those are just good movies, good cinema. And that's why they are in my top 3.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and let us know in the comments, what are your top 10, top 3? Just let us know your favorite Christmas movie if you feel like it. We want you guys to have a Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate. Happy holiday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Ricky, for sharing that. And we're going to go ahead and catch you guys next time.
He's
Stay
the
warm.
little boy that Santa Claus forgot.